Hey, what's up? It's Dan, and for the past 20 years, I've gotten myself into shape and also tens of thousands of others as well. And something that I realized about this whole fat loss game is that it's not necessarily about knowing what to do, it's actually about knowing what to avoid. So in this video, I want to share with you the top 8 critical mistakes that I've made that I want you to avoid, especially when it comes to creating a lean body. And I promise you that by avoiding these mistakes, and by learning what not to do, you are going to be crushing your fat loss goals this year. So without further ado, here's number one. Number one, people are too focused on weight loss and not enough on fat loss. Something that we have to realize is that muscle is the engine for your metabolism. If you end up losing muscle, especially when you lose weight, what happens is that when you lose muscle, which is what a lot of people do when they lose weight, they end up setting their metabolisms back farther than they think. And this reminds me of a client that came to me. So he actually dropped 20 pounds before coming to us and gained it all back because he used a low-calorie diet and doing primarily cardio as a means for exercise. And I have no problems with cardio. I have no problems with doing a low-calorie diet. Yes, you have to cut calories from your diet, but also what you have to do is you have to set up your diet and you have to set up your workouts in a way where you're maintaining, if not building, muscle as you are losing weight. So when he came to us, what happened was we put him on resistance training. We had him get rid of all of the cardio that he was doing. We had him replace that with walking. And when it came to the diet, we made sure that we focus on the number one macronutrient, which is protein. Now, the second big mistake that I see people making is setting short time horizons. So I always ask clients this: how long did it take you to put the weight on? And they usually tell me that it took them 5 years, 6 years, whatever it is. So then I ask them, okay, cool. How long are you getting yourself in order to get the weight off? And they'll usually tell me, oh, about 6 weeks, 12 weeks. And the only way in which you can give yourself a fighting chance to not only lose the weight, but also keep it off is you have to give yourself a long time horizon. You overestimate what you can do in 6 weeks, but you way underestimate what you can do in a full year. And also something I'll say about this is that it's not necessarily about just losing it as fast as possible. It's never about that. Weight loss and fat loss is a lot like money. It's not about how much you lose, it's about how much you keep off. If you gave yourself a full year to do this, what you would realize is that you can make a lot of mistakes. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have this imaginary deadline that you're trying to live up to. And the key thing is understanding that sustainability comes from integrating this as a part of your lifestyle. And that shit takes time. So when you are setting a goal for yourself to get lean, instead of trying to find all the fast methods and all the fad diets in order to drop it off as fast as you can, you want to find things that will make the process as sustainable as possible. And you can only find that through the course of giving yourself enough time. Now, the next mistake is a very insidious one, and it's literally just using the wrong tools in order to get yourself lean and in shape. So here's what I mean. So when the weather gets warmer and people start to realize, oh shit, summer's coming, what do you see people do? They hit the pavement and they start to run. Now, yes, you may have some running enthusiasts that are out there because they just love running, but most of the times you see people running because they want to lose weight. And the one thing that we know about long distance running, and especially cardio, is that it is one of the worst ways to lose weight, one of the worst tools, especially if you don't like doing it in the first place. So you may be wondering, okay, what are the right tools? Well, you probably know this already, but let me just get a little bit more detailed. Now, you probably know this already, but you know that resistance training, using progressive overload, focusing on the main exercises, the main movements are going to give you the best bang for buck when it comes to the building and the retaining of muscle. You also know that you have to eat high protein, anywhere from 0.8 to 1.25 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Now, what you may not know, instead of doing cardio as a tool for yourself to lose weight, I actually find that walking, what I'm doing right now, walking is one of the best tools. Now, if you want to take this a step further, it could be walking, getting at least 10 to 15K steps a day, or it could be sprinting. I find sprinting to be one of the best tools in order to eliminate fat from our bodies, especially visceral fat from the belly. and through sprinting. And I'm not saying you should be sprinting every single day. I actually say that you should be doing this maybe like once a week, because if you are sprinting, it's going to be high intensity and you don't want to be doing this too often because you want to be making sure that you're staying away from injury. Now, I'm going to be doing an entire video on sprinting because I do believe that walking and sprinting are probably the best tools, especially if you're trying to use cardio in which to burn fat. But I digress. We want to be using the right tools in order to get ourselves into the shape that we deserve to be in. And when it comes to getting lean, the most important tool is fixing your diet. It's fixing your behaviors around how you eat. That is going to be the 80% of where you're going to see most of your results. So make sure that you're using the right tools and eliminate the ones that don't work for you. Now, the next mistake that I see, especially with people that are trying to get lean, is not doing enough to regulate their hunger. So in my coaching practice, we want to set up the diet in a way where we are going to be mitigating hunger as much as possible. But that doesn't mean that people are not going to feel it. It's just that we want to prevent it as much as possible, because sometimes with a lot of people, they see hunger as a sign to just engorge on everything that they see in front of them. So the first step of which we do this is to set the frame of the meal schedule. When are they going to eat? When is most natural for them to eat? And what is going to correlate best with controlling hunger? The next step is going to be quality of foods, making sure that we're getting enough nutrients inside of their bodies every single day so they can mitigate appetite and hunger later on. And one of those is obviously going to be increasing protein, increasing fiber intake. The next step after that is going to be using water. And what I mean by that is that a lot of times when we feel hungry, a lot of times when we feel like we need to eat, it's either going to be one of three things. Either we're bored, either we are dehydrated, or we are really hungry. So we like to use the water test for that. So anytime that we're feeling hungry, especially when it's not time to eat, we're going to be drinking 500 milliliters of water with a little bit of a pinch of salt for electrolytes, and then we're just going to be waiting at least 5 to 10 minutes. And usually what happens is that the hunger dissipates, especially if you just like make yourself busy for the next 5 to 10 minutes and you just forget about it. You usually find the hunger dissipating. Now there's another final step. I'm going to get into that in a minute. But the thing that we want to do, especially when it comes to hunger, is understand that it's a part of the game. You're going to feel this. It is going to be something that is going to rear its head at some point in time in your journey. And what you have to understand is that sometimes it's about being friends with hunger. And a really cool mindset that I like to take with hunger, especially when it comes to the nighttime, is that I kind of look at hunger as fat leaving the body. It's okay to feel hunger. I think that we have overfed ourselves to the point where we don't even know what true hunger is anymore. And I think at some point in time, we have to learn how to be friends with it if we want to have a really holistic relationship with our food and also with our bodies. Now, here is the last step to mitigating hunger, but also setting up the cards right in your favor. And this is actually the next mistake. And by the way, we're trying to reach 500,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And I really do think that we have a chance of making it, and we're gonna need your help. So if you're getting value out of this, please hit the subscribe button. All right, let's get back to the video. So the next mistake is not making sleep a priority. So I had a client who had dropped 60 pounds off of his body. He got into his absolute best shape, visceral fat gone, but the only problem was he was feeling incredible bouts of hunger. So one of the things that we did, we just got him to sleep 1 more hour a day. He was sleeping about 5 to 6 hours a day. What we did was we just got him to sleep at least 7 hours a day. And you know what? Miraculously, the hunger went away. Now, something you have to realize about sleep, that there's 2 things that are involved. It's the quantity and the quality. With him, we just fixed the quantity. We just want to get at least 7 hours of sleep a night. That gives us enough to have a fighting chance in order to regulate our hormones, especially when it comes to our hunger hormones, and also improve our performance inside the gym and outside the gym. The other one is going to be quality of sleep. And this involves improving REM sleep, deep sleep, latency, how fast it takes you to go to sleep. Now, I'm not going to get too into how to fix your sleep because we have videos on that you can check out right here. And we also have a sleep guide that is free that you can check out in the description below. But when it comes to getting lean, when it comes to burning fat, you have to make sleep a priority This sets up the cards in your favor, and it's also the best legal performance-enhancing drug on the planet, so use it. Now, this next mistake is going to be more on the psychological side than the physical side, but it's very important. Hear me out. When I talk to a lot of our clients, especially around weight loss and the awareness around why they do what they do, it's almost like they have zero awareness about their emotions. And here's what I mean. Our emotions are like guides. They're like signals. They let us know how we actually feel and believe about certain things that we want to create in our lives. So if I put this to you and I ask you how confident you are about doing something that you've done over 100 times, you would have the inner emotional confidence that says that I am very confident that I can do this. Now, when I ask people about their ability to hit a certain weight loss goal, and I ask them what emotions bubble up for them, what happens as a result is a lot of the emotions they have is doubt, worry, fear. And these are not necessarily bad emotions. They're not necessarily negative. What we have to understand is that that is a signal to how confident they are that they can actually achieve the goal that they set out for themselves. And something that we have to realize about this whole getting in shape thing is that a big part of it is faith and belief that we can actually do it. And I like to say this as well, it's like, has someone accomplished the thing that you've wanted to accomplish? Has someone done it before? The answer is obviously going to be yes. Now, with that knowing, I'm not going to tell you what to feel, but understand that if you know that someone's done it before, they figured out how to do it, that actually says that you have just as much of a capability and capacity to be able to accomplish this in your life. So use your emotions as guides instead of these things as like these negative boogeymen. Be aware of them and understand that they're trying to tell you where you are energetically towards the thing that you're trying to accomplish. And this is what awareness is about. Now, I know that's a little bit more on the intangible side than the tangible. Let's get back to the tangible stuff right now. Next step. Now, there's a vicious cycle that happens when someone tries to lose weight, and here's how it goes. Step one is you lack a key nutrient inside of your diet. Now, the second step is your mental health and your energy are affected by lacking this key nutrient inside of your diet. And when that happens, this amplifies hunger and appetite. And then the final step is you're wondering, why can't I stick to a diet? Why am I always hungry? Why am I always giving in to junk foods and all this other stuff? Well, sometimes it's because you're lacking key nutrients inside of your body. Now, there are some key nutrients that I've seen inside of my own life and also with our clients as well. Now, the first one is vitamin D. So lacking vitamin D can affect your metabolism, it can affect your energy, and it can also affect your insulin sensitivity as well. Also, the next one is going to be a lack of vitamin B12. And again, this has been linked to overall energy and also has been linked to obesity. And the next one is not getting enough fiber. So if you don't get enough fiber, this increases hunger, it increases appetite, and it makes you feel less satiated after every single meal. And as a side note, something that I realized with a lot of my clients, especially when they deal with hunger and appetite, especially at night, is they are not eating enough nutrients during the day. Eating foods from DoorDash and getting your foods from Chipotle and all these other fast food places that are devoid of critical nutrients are not going to be helpful in the long run. Now, the last thing I'll say about nutrients is that you can get a lot of these nutrients that I just talked about by eating whole, single ingredient, nutrient-dense foods. And if you have to supplement, you can do that too. But I would rely on whole foods and even sun exposure, especially for vitamin D, more so than trying to get it through supplementation. Now, this final mistake is the most important one, and I hope you can hear me with all the huge waves crashing right beside me. And this one is a lack of attention on identity and lifestyle. You see, when we're trying to lose weight, we are so fixated on the scale. We're so fixated on jumping on the scale and being like, oh, I'm losing weight, yay, or I'm gaining weight, oh. When the reality is that the scale is nothing more than just a data point. What we have to focus on is creating an identity where getting lean and losing weight and all of the behaviors that come along with that are automatic as a result of who you are as a person. So if you find yourself, you have to like force yourself to go to the gym because you're trying to like, gain muscle, or if you find yourself having to change your diet because you need to drop a couple pounds on the scale, these things are going to be short term. You are not necessarily going to see the long-term benefit, as opposed to going to the gym because it makes you feel really good and it's such a part of your day. It's almost like brushing your teeth. And following a healthy diet and eating a healthy diet because you know energetically how you're going to feel after you eat certain foods. And this is going along with the time horizons, where this stuff takes time. Rome was not built in a day, and your lifestyle and your identity, these are not necessarily going to be built in a day either. This stuff takes time. So what you have to understand is that as we are doing these healthy things, as we are trying to get ourselves lean, we are always linking back and attributing the things that we're doing back to who we are as people. Now, this last part is probably the part that's going to go over most people's heads because then we're like, Dan, just shut the f up and just like tell me the plan and tell me what to do. But for the people that hone this in, and for the people that really like take this in and integrate it into their soul, you are going to find that it's not necessarily going to be easy. It's not going to make it easier, but it is going to be much more sustainable. And the process is going to be much more enjoyable because it is a part of your lifestyle. Now, those are the most critical 8 mistakes that I would avoid, especially if you're trying to get lean. And again, it's about knowing what to do, but also it's about knowing what to avoid as well. I hope you got a lot of value out of this, and I'll see you on the next video.